Ball Malone, a very well-respected and well-known athlete in the USA softball world. In her 6th season at UCF, you see right there, 4 straight NCAA tournament appearances. First super regional in UCF history was last year. And I had a chance actually to be able to go out and talk with her for another project a couple years ago. Just a very sweet person and somebody that everybody in that UCF athletics community just adores and reveres.
And I will say, she has some beautiful hair.
Yeah.
Look at that long, beautiful blonde hair. I'm jealous.
So you're talking about the long, beautiful locks of Coach Ball Malone, and then there's the long locks of your old coach, Coach Eakin. Super regional appearance in 2010, 16 NCAA tournament appearances, and 14 conference championships. And the umpires are now coming over to have a discussion with both coaches as the fans are waiting anxiously to see what the official call is. And I'm still curious as to how come the BYU scoreboard shows a 0.
Yeah, that is a great question. One run definitely came across,
yes,
and will count no matter what.
100%. UCF did score Samantha Ray. So see if we can read some body language here. Now, I know, Taylor, that you graduated with your master's, I believe, in lip reading.
Oh.
So let's see what you got here.
Oh, man, I got nothing. Need to do the, is it like Tommy Boy or whatever on social media that does those lip reads? We'll send it to him. He's got his master's, not me.
Oh, the John Boy.
John Boy, yes.
John Boy, yes.
My husband always watching him.
There was obstruction at home plate. By rule, at the time of the tag, the other runner goes back to second base because she was not halfway to third base. We got 2 out. Runner to second base.
Okay, so they said official obstruction.
Wow.
So they did call obstruction on Lindy Milkowski.
Yeah, and I wondered if it got overturned and she was called safe. Where do we go from there, right? And like they said, runner goes back to second, and there's still 2 outs.
So here it is again.
It's just that last step in that she takes, covering that corner of the plate, that I think really does it. She starts out more on the corner, on that inside corner where she should be, but because of that footstep over the major part of the play, I think that's where they're getting that obstruction call from.
So instead of 1, UCF gets 2 here in the top of the first. And after a lengthy delay, we're back at play here. So BYU still has 2 outs, trying to find their third to get out of the inning. And this ball misses high from Korth. So Kotzelnick is at first, and Mertez at second. And Korth comes inside for strike 1. Here's the 1-0. Oh, big curveball that misses. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Ashley Griffin, the junior out of Georgia, can try and cash in a couple more nights here. Here's the 2-1. And this one gets past Milkowski. But it is a strike. So 2 balls and 2 strikes now for Kason Korth to Griffin. What a huge energy drop, right?
Oh, yeah.
For BYU on the defensive side. Here's the 2-2. This ball slapped in the gap into right field. And the runners will all hold at their bags. So Mertez at second, Mertez at third, Kotzelnick at second. And Griffin aboard with a single at first. And that ball was perfect.
Yep, hard ground ball through the infield. Nothing more you can ask for as a coach.
So now the bases are loaded again for the Knights. Second time this half inning. And Korth finds the strike zone.
And going back to the top of this inning, Sierra Humphrey started this all going with that bunt. Ruled a hit, and I think it was a hit, but if BYU could have been a little more on top of that bunt, they could have got out of this inning unscathed, I think.
And Korth finds strike 2. So Madison Simon looking down the barrel of an 0-2 count with the bases loaded, trying to help out her team. And Kason Korth trying to get out of this inning before any more runs come across. Here's the 0-2. Korth misses high for ball 1. The breaking ball misses high. 2 balls and 2 strikes now for Korth.
And that rise ball for Korth is so good, but right now she's just throwing it, 4 balls higher than where it needs to be. And then Simon can just easily lay off of it. It's starting at her eyeball, so she knows that it's not a strike. Needs something a little closer for her to fish for.
And she pokes this one foul down the line and out of play.
Yeah, and something just like that pitch that Kason Korth just threw, that's exactly what she's looking for.
And if you're Kason Korth, how do you learn from that pitch?
Well, you throw it 2 inches higher. Because you got her swinging at 1. If you can just sneak it a little bit higher above her hands, that's exactly where she wants to place it. Unless she comes in with another pitch right now.
Here's the 2-2. Low and inside for ball 3. So a great job of battling here from Simon. Starting the count 0-2, now working it all the way to full. So something's got to give here in the top of the first. Either another run for the Knights or BYU gets out of here. Here's the payoff pitch. Ooh, she stays alive, getting a piece of it.
And so bold, of course, to go for a changeup, 3-2 count. If she doesn't hit her spot, she's walking in a runner, but she really trusts that changeup, goes to it often, and has really good command of it.
There's the battle right there in that split box. Here's the payoff pitch. And again, foul down the line. So Simon seeing 7 pitches now in this at-bat. And already Kason Korth, about 39 pitches.
Which is probably a high for her in one single inning of this whole entire season. She really is very efficient in her pitch counts.
And she misses outside. Simon draws the walk. And UCF tacks on run number 3 here in the top of the first. And all 3 runs have come with 2 outs. And that'll bring up Coco Jaimes.
And tough right there, because Korth does not want to give up a hit, right? But your team can't defend a walk-in. Walking in a run is really tough because runs are important in every game, but specifically this game now, BYU's down 3-0 just in the first inning.
We got a pitching change here in Provo. Early on, the Knights are tacking on some runs. Outs. Here's the 0-0 pitch. And Villegas misses inside for ball 1.
And really missing just off the plate. You can hear the roar of the crowd, unhappy that pitch was called the ball. But if the umpire's been calling it up until this point, he's just got to stick with it, and BYU needs to adapt to that.
Here's the 1-0. And she comes closer inside and paints the black for strike number 1. Hymas right now out of the starting lineup for the Knights, the lowest batting average at 145 on the season. And this ball slapped down to third, and Komoku will end the inning for the Cougars, but not before the Knights tack on 3. BYU trails heading in.
Not succumb, that's for sure, or succumb.
And Owens puts this one high in the air down to third base line, and out of play making the catch is Sierra Humphreys. So Owens is retired and just got under that one.
Yeah, and Owens just has that really nice hard swing. She doesn't need to do too much with it. She swings so hard, and I just think sometimes she's really putting a lot into it when she can just let the ball come to her. She is a great hitter, and I think will do awesome things this series as she gets on these UCF pitchers.
So Haley Morrow takes that first pitch for a strike. Morrow hitting .323 on the year. And Morrow, hard ground ball to Humphreys over at third, fires across the diamond for the out. So very quickly, Isabella Vega doing work.
Yeah, crazy to already have 2 outs. We just had like a 30-minute inning for BYU. And as a fan, you might be, how can they still be warmed up to hit right? And what's crazy is these hitters probably warmed up 2 hours ago, hitting-wise, for softball games. You just don't get to hit right before the game with these college games. And so a lot of times they don't need a warm-up, just a few warm-up swings in the circle, and that's all these girls are even used to.
So Elovea Brittingham, the freshman phenom, and she can do damage with one swing of the bat. And trying to put the ball in play to get on base for her squad. And slaps this one foul down the third base line. And Sierra Humphreys showing everybody she's ready for anything down there in the hot corner. So Brittingham quickly down 0-2.
And Humphreys really giving Brittingham some space over there at third. She knows Brittingham can rip the ball, so giving herself that extra reaction time, playing a little bit behind third base, just in case she gets one of those hot ones.
Vega's offering, low and in the dirt for ball 1. As the sun continues to set, you see the batter's eye out in the outfield, and Brittingham chases high and strikes out to end the inning. So UCF makes quick work of the Cougars in the bottom of the first, and the Knights take their 3-0 lead into the top. As that offering hits the outside corner for strike 1. How it's UCF beats Arizona, BYU loses to Arizona, BYU beats Iowa State.
Yeah,
UCF
and then they get swept by Iowa State. It's just crazy. You just don't know exactly what team is going to show up what weekend. And that's what makes this conference fun, is you don't know.
Ooh. Some friendly fire as a foul ball gets right off of Samantha Ray.
Ouch, that hurts.
Point blank range. Take a look at the bottom right hand of your screen. And she could not even move. And
right in the shin. That is the worst spot, too. Man, but being tough, walking it out, and getting right back in there. That will be a nice bruise.
Oh, man. So after that foul ball, it's an 0-2 count to Humphreys. And Villegas bringing the heat on that one, missing outside for ball 1. Here's the 1-2. And a rocketed base hit up the middle gets UCF back on the base paths. And Humphreys was sitting on that fastball. So now that'll bring up Samantha Ray. And she's going to try and keep her composure after just getting drilled with the foul ball. She shows bunt, but it was a strike, so Jada Villegas will take that little tiny W.
And we know Ray will lay down that bunt, especially right now. This is just prime bunting opportunity for UCF's offense. Move that runner on first over to second, get him into scoring position, and lay down that sacrifice bunt.
Here's the 0-1. And one misses outside. And she did not show bunt that time. Interesting.
And BYU corners definitely crashed in a little bit, expecting that bunt in this scenario.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. And Villegas trying to hit that outside corner, misses for ball 2. And Komoku is crashing hard over there at third.
And sometimes as UCF, you take that to your advantage. Those corners are crashing hard. You have your runners slap and try and punch one past them since they're playing so far in for that bunt.
Here's the 2-1. And then the bunt gets laid down. This time it goes foul. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ray with Humphrey at first. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and tipped out of the glove of Milkowski. So Ray stays alive. Again, the 2-2. Slapped to short. And safe is the call. Haley Morrow and Miranda Mansfield could not get that lead runner out. I almost thought that Morrow could have probably tagged the base.
Yeah, especially how close she was to the bag. Just 2 steps over there. But honestly, Humphreys was like stealing on that pitch or left early or something. She was over there in a hurry. That ball was hit with enough speed. I really don't think it should have been that close of a play over at second. Unless Humphreys had the steal on or potentially even left early. It was a close play.
Is safe at second base. BYU is challenging.
So Coach Eakin is going to challenge this call at second base, and we saw a couple replays from our EVS replay crew. And here, let's take another look.
And I would say right there, she definitely looks safe. So I wonder if they're going to go back and look at that. Oh, it might, from that angle, they might have got it actually.
From that angle, it does look like the throw.
It's hard because you can't see exactly like when the foot is
right.
exactly touching the bag because the ball is there before, but is the foot touching the bag?
Let's take another look here. So here's the shuffle, there's the toss. And you're right.
Yeah, the foot seems to be there, but I don't think the ball is quite there.
Good work again from our replay crew. I mean, based off of that angle, if her toe is on the corner of the bag, it looks like the ball comes.
Which makes a play like that possible for UCF.
There's another bunt laid down the first base line, and what a beauty. A bunt single for the Knights. And they are cooking right now. Bases loaded, nobody out. Up 3-0. And a big opportunity to bust this thing wide open.
Yeah, Yeah, and really a textbook bunt right down that first baseline. Not too hard, not too soft where the catcher can come grab it. Really good job by UCF right now.
So Beth Damon stepping up into the box. And Coach Eakin coming over to have a talk with Michael Hernandez, the home plate umpire. And now Coach Eakin is going to make his way to the mound to talk to Jada Villegas. So a very unconventional start to this game.
And I think this is just going to be a really interesting series. Both of these teams have really high highs, have some really low lows, won some games that they should have won and some they maybe shouldn't have against these really, high-ranked teams, but then lost some that they shouldn't have won, but also some that they probably should have. Like, it's just going to be a really interesting matchup and see what teams come out and play hard tonight and throughout the rest of the weekend.
Aubrey Evans at the plate. I beg your pardon. Damon at the plate. With an opportunity again to bust this thing wide open. And she takes that first pitch inside for ball one. You know that Villegas does not want to walk anybody. And this comes down to the conversation that we had against Arizona, where ultimately as a pitcher you have to put it in a place where the batters can put the ball in play, let your defense do the work. And this one's outside for ball two.
Yeah, and UCF doing a really good job to put that pressure on the pitchers. It's so much harder as a pitcher to throw when bases are loaded. You're losing. It's just not looking super great for BYU right now with no outs.
This ball fouled into the UCF dugout.
So it's that finesse of hitting your spots, but also not missing them too big so that you're not walking a runner in. It can just be tricky, especially Villegas as a freshman out there throwing in this really important game for BYU.
Here's the 2-1. And this ball poked to short. Coming home and making the catch and the tag was Lindy Milkowski. Haley Morrow's throw sailed a little bit too high, and Milkowski is very slow to get up. And Milkowski took a shot. A one hopper to Morrow, who threw it home, and then you see that slide took out the left leg of Milkowski and swung her around.
Yeah, her leg not feeling good, but Milkowski did a really good thing, not trying to go back and tag the bag once the throw was offline, going for the runner tag to guarantee that out for BYU. Just too bad she got her knee a little bit taken out from her.
Milkowski's as tough as they come. And she's shaking it off and getting the claps from the crowd. And to have a person like her take her time, you know that was a good, hard collision there at the plate. But Milkowski's ready to roll, and BYU got the out. So a great athletic play from the catcher.
And heads up of Haley Morrow to take that throw over to home and get that lead runner. They had enough time to do it. Just too bad the throw was a little bit offline and almost resulted in injury, but she seems to be doing good down there.
So BYU has one away, and UCF still has the bases loaded. And Mertes looks at that offering outside for ball one. Here's the 1-0. And Villegas comes inside and corrects for strike one. Here's the 1-1. And this ball off of the shoes of Villegas. One run will come across, and a single for UCF makes it 4-0. So Kamoku coming over to take a look. And off the back foot.
Yeah, I was going to say she took that like a champ, but probably didn't hurt too bad. It looked like it was the bottom underneath her cleat on that back heel side, so it probably really didn't rattle her too much. I was thinking more ankle initially, and she didn't even flinch, so.
Jada Villegas trying to get out of this inning. Still one away. And she battles back with strike number one. And Konselnick, who had a 2 RBI single her first time up, is at the plate with 3 on base. A check swing from Konselnick, and she did not go. So 1 ball, 1 strike.
Hitting is a super contagious thing, and UCF has all the momentum just passing the bat from player to player to player. BYU really hasn't shut them down in any way, shape, or form up until this point in the game.
Here's the 1-1. And this ball slapped into center field again. Another UCF hit and another UCF run. 5-0. And the Knights are charging on here in the top of the second.
And there's been a couple, softer hits that BYU could do something with, but a lot of these hits that UCF is getting are just balls that are roped and hit hard, and just not a lot BYU can do as a defense against stuff like that. They need the pitchers for BYU to hit their spots a little bit better and get a little bit more miss hits and not as hard hit of balls so that BYU's defenders can do something.
Another pitching change. And we will step aside. UCF 5, BYU 0. Midway through the top of. And the first pitch from Mates is outside for strike one.
And Mates threw a lot for BYU last year as a freshman, just has been hurt this season and really hasn't done many innings up until this point. So really going to see what she's got coming into this.
And that rise ball goes too high for ball. So 1 ball, 1 strike to count. And here's the 1-1. And this one low and in the dirt for ball number 2. So Griffin's last plate appearance, she got a single. And a single here would cash in and maybe a couple other runs. Strike 2 for Mates. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Hard ground ball to second. So the runner is safe at first, and a run will come across. So 6-0. The Knights tack on another one, but BYU gets out number 2.
And a good play by BYU, keeping another runner out of scoring position. BYU could have just went one with that. There was no chance at a play at home, but really good heads-up defense by the middle infield for BYU.
Mates misses outside for ball 1. And Madison Simon, who drew an RBI walk in the first, up at the plate. Here's the 1-0. Make that strike one on the outside corner from Mades. 1 ball and 1 strike to Madison Simon. Missing high is Mades, so 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 outs in the top of the second. So far, UCF has put up 3 in the top of the first and 3 so far here in the top of the second. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Poked over to short. Morrow across the way to Townsend to end the inning. So UCF tacks on 3 more. And B. White, and trying to get a rally going for these Cougars. And Mikowski trying to take out a little anger after having an obstruction call against her and after being taken out on a slide, even though she got the out, but she would like to do some damage here at the plate. Here's the 1-1. And this one comes inside for ball 2. At first glance, it almost looked like that might have hit her.
I know. I thought the same thing. Especially like the way the ball sounded coming in. It just sounded weird, but maybe just the way it hit off of catcher's glove, Damon at home plate. I don't know. Something was funky about it.
Mikowski fouls another, so 2 balls and 2 strikes still. Cougars trailing 6. Here's the 2-2. And Milkowski sends this one high and deep. And gone! Lindy Milkowski, a solo shot, puts BYU on the board.
And she mashed that, hitting it as far as you can out of the ball.
Agbayani watches that one come in low for ball 1. And BYU, again, this is still their first time through the lineup. And an off-speed misses high, so 2 balls and no strikes to Agbayani. Make that 3-0 to Agbayani.
And definitely a hitter's count right here for Agbayani. A lot of times we see these players watch till they at least get 1 strike when they're a 3-0 count, but sometimes they get that green light, and if it's a pitch they like, they're allowed to take a big hack at it.
Agbayani takes that one for strike 1. Here's the 3-1. And this ball's crushed. Oh! What a snag from Evans.
Wow.
Aubrey Evans with the magnet of a glove at short. This ball was destroyed. And Evans says, I'll take that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely smoked. The reaction time and the body control to be able to jump up, catch that in the air the way she did. Super impressive. Hats off to her.
I mean, it's frustrating if you're BYU, but at least you know that you're getting excellent contact.
Yeah. As long as you're getting good contact, you can't necessarily control if the ball goes in holes, right? But you can control getting those nice hard hits, and you can't be mad about those.
One and one the count to Bree Townsend. And Isabella Vega relying on her defense, mainly Aubrey Evans. And this ball lifted into shallow left field, and Evans gets BYU out 1-2-3. So Aubrey Evans does it all herself, and we're going to head to the top of the third. 6-1 UCF. So Mades gets a strike as Jaimes goes around on the bunt offering. So Coco Jaimes 0 for 1 so far this afternoon. Here's a ground ball to Mansfield at second. It's scooped up at first by Townsend.
Yeah, Mansfield doing a really good job picking that ball up and getting the throw over there quick. Softball is so bang bang, you have to be fast, but Townsend picking her up and making sure she digs that ball up out of the dirt. Really good team effort by those two.
So a quick 1 out for the Cougars. And Mades misses outside for ball 1. Humphreys got a single her last time up. She's 1 for 2. And she sees that come in for strike 1. And on deck is Samantha Ray, and she is making sure to pay attention as she got drilled in the on-deck circle last time. And this ball misses high for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Low and in the dirt for ball 3. Here's the 3-1. And she finds a strike zone. The count is full.
It is crazy to think this is our 3rd time seeing Sierra Humphreys up to bat, whereas on the BYU side, we haven't even made it all the way through their lineup yet.
Mm-hmm. Big breaking ball gets a swing and a miss. And down goes Humphreys.
Big strikeout from Mades. Beautiful pitch, such a good spot. And now we see BYU, 2 outs early on in the inning. No runners have gotten on base. This is what we like to see from BYU.
And Mades dials in a strike on the outside corner to Samantha Ray. Corners playing in, outfield pretty much straight away, and middle infield even with the bag. Strike 2. This would be a big confidence booster. This ball lifted to shallow shortstop, and Haley Morrow puts him away. So the first 1, 2, 3.
Seen her throw up until this point in the game.
So Miranda Mansfield with a 2-0 count, trying to get on for BYU. And she watches that one come in for strike 1.
And we will say, last inning for BYU, we saw that home run from Milkowski and a couple just shots over to Evans at shortstop that she just made great plays on that could have been real rally starters and swinging that momentum a little bit more towards BYU.
It's a hard bunt right back at Vega, who gets the throw in time for the out. And you have to think that just either an inch down to third or an inch closer to first, and that would have been a base hit.
This has been a game where there's been so many just really close plays, like not a lot of obvious things going on as far as if players are safe or if they're out.
This ball slapped foul off the net. Flanders quickly down 0-1, and they have an interesting shift. You know, a minor shift compared to the crazy shifts we've seen, but Aubrey Evans is almost playing right behind Sierra Humphreys over on the left side. Humphreys is playing up from the third base position. And there's a ball foul off the bunt attempt. So quickly 0-2 to Flanders. Isabella Vega, no doubt, going to try and see if she can get Flanders to chase here. And Flanders does not take the bait, staying away from that high stinky cheese. Here's the 1-2. And this ball lifted deep short, shallow left, and Aubrey Evans, who's the defensive MVP so far. It's what, like her 5th or 6th put out?
Yeah. She is a magnet over there.
So Lily Owens, who we saw having a very heated discussion with her head coach and did not go out to center field, is now up at the plate. And she watches that first pitch for strike one. And Lily Owens in her first at bat just got underneath the ball.
Yeah, just missed.
She flew out to Sierra Humphreys at third. And Owens lays down a nice bunt. She's got speed, and nobody's going to catch her at first. And she is fired up. She's trying to get her teammates fired up as well.
And genius. Owens has so much speed, hits the ball so well, has an incredible batting average, but she can catch teams sleeping on her and use her speed and turn that bunt into a single and get the base runners that BYU really needs right now.
So that'll bring up Haley Morrow. And the defense is playing straight away from Morrow. And Morrow drills this one into center field, but not deep enough as Madison Simon makes the out. So BYU leaves a base runner, still trailing by 5. And he moved to left field, and then Lily Owens is now the DP. And Gianna Matas still in the circle.
Yeah, she threw our first complete inning for a BYU pitcher.
She did.
Last inning came down, shut it down a little bit in the second inning, held them the third inning. And we'll see how she does as she continues forward. BYU needs her to be tough right now.
This ball poked high, shallow right field, camping underneath it, making the catch is Miranda Mansfield for out number 1. And you know, Taylor, you've been in this situation before, but there are just some times where your emotions kind of get the best of you. And,
yeah.
And when he said, I couldn't help but think that that's what he was talking about when he said calming the storm a little bit, because it doesn't seem like UCF is bringing the storm like Arizona did a couple weeks ago, but self-inflicted wounds, I guess, from the Cougars.
And they've done nothing crazy wrong, right? They have one error in the game, but it's really just been these little things that have added up in crucial times for them that have just made it stack up higher than it should be, even though UCF has hit the ball well this game.
There's another shallow fly ball, can of corn. Elovea Brittingham retires Damon. So quickly 2 away in the top of the 4th for BYU.
And Made's doing a good job spinning that ball making these UCF hitters hit the ball to outs that are easy for her defense to handle.
So Izzy Mertes at the plate, and she looks at that offering low and in the dirt for ball 1. This ball comes up and in, so 2 balls and no strikes. Here's the 2-0. And that one misses high, so 3 balls and no strikes to Mertes. So up 6-1. Let's see if she has the green light. Ooh. This ball hits the outside corner. Mertes was thinking walk all the way.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of called strikes on that outside corner. It's a really tight zone on that outer half, but Mare's doing a good job finding that strike zone.
And that one misses high, so Mertes is aboard with a walk, her second of the afternoon. And that'll bring up one of your favorite names to say in Stormy Kotelnick. Maybe Coach Eakin was talking about her when he said call me the Storm.
Yes.
And Kotelnick looks inside for ball 1. Kotelnick herself has 3 RBIs. Had a 2 RBI single in the first and an RBI single in the second.
Yeah, she's 2 for 2 today. So yeah, really the Storm that he could have been referring to.
There's a laser inside the lines, all the way down the right field line. Coming all the way around to score is Mertes. And a sliding triple for Kotelnick. Gives her her 4th RBI of the day. And UCF is on top 7-1.
And her first triple on the season. Triples in softball are so hard just because of how short the fields are. Really, we see these players get them when they hit that right down the right field line or right down the left field line, and she did just that and then hustled her way over to third.
Ashley Griffin, who has an RBI under her belt as well, with a 1-0 count at the plate. To make that 2-0. It's Kotelnick. He's down the line at third, ready to be cashed in. Here's the 2-0. And Manes gets the strike.
And she's done a really good job so far. That hit just got away from her, and the walk a little bit away from her, but it's really just how she comes back from that. Things are going to happen. It's just how she reacts and how she flows with it on the mound.
This ball is driven high and deep, and this one's gone. Ashley Griffin tacks on 2 more for the Knights. 9-1 in the 4th.
Yeah, and that ball was absolutely mashed. Great swing put on the ball. UCF is just hard to hold down right now.
As the kids say, they're cooking.
Oh, yeah.
9-1 in the top of the 4th. And look at that scoreboard. Consistent numbers. 3 in the first, 3 in the second, 3 in the fourth.
And those threes add up quick.
Yes. And 6 of the 9 have all come with 2 outs. And this ball's drilled down the right field line. And in foul territory off of the tip of the glove of Brittingham.
She just about snagged that. And a tough catch to make, full-on sprint over your shoulder.
Heading into the bullpen.
Heading into the bullpen as pitchers are actively throwing. Great hustle by her. Would have been an incredible catch if she got it.
Here's the 0-1. This ball tailed outside for ball 1 to Madison Simon. Simon looking for her first hit today. She had an RBI walk in the first and grounded out to short in the second. This ball drilled into the BYU dugout for a long strike. Gianna Mates with pitch number 37 on the way. This is high for ball 2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Check swing high, and she did not go. So full count now to Madison Simon.
And not a bad pitch, not a bad spot, but just a few inches lower just to make her think a little bit more, and maybe BYU would have got that check swing call.
Here's the payoff pitch. And this one drilled into the gap, a one-hopper off the wall. And a stand-up double for Madison Simon keeps the Knights charging on here in the top of the fourth.
Yeah, UCF is just doing a good job putting hard swings on balls and placing them too. I mean, gosh, they've found about every hole there is on the field right now.
Just about, yeah.
And that's just how softball goes. Some days, some teams find all the holes and the other ones don't, and that's just what makes it so fun and interesting to watch. You never know which way it's going to go.
Looks like we will have a pinch hitter. And coming in is Kendall Yarnell, the freshman. And she's from the same hometown as Lindy Milkowski, the catcher. And first pitch she sees, fouls it into the stands for strike 1. Being aggressive.
Yeah, a lot of times pinch hitters watch that first pitch just to get a little bit of timing. They're just coming into the game. But she saw a pitch she liked and she went after it.
Here's the 0-1. This is high for ball 1. Were you a first ball swinger?
Just depended.
You really?
Yeah. If it was a pitch I liked, yes, definitely.
Where was your pitch? Ideal pitch?
I mean, depended on the time. I generally liked the more inside half of the plate.
Check swing for Yarnell makes it 1-2. Here's the 1-2. Another check swing and a strikeout for the Cougars, but not before UCF gets 3 more. Ashley Griffin delivers a 2-out, 2-run bomb to extend.
And Vega got the best of her last at-bats. You know, and Brittingham is just so good at the plate. Her average says it, the home run she's hit this season. So really props to Vega last time for going after and getting that strikeout.
And another strikeout as Brittingham wasn't even close on that one. So just an uncharacteristic day for Brittingham and so far for the BYU Cougars.
And I think that changeup has been her demise today. She's just not seeing it super well out of the hand to know that that's going to be low and in the dirt, not a hittable ball for her. So Vega doing a really good job. And you know, all players, all softball players, either side of this ball diamond, they all have off days sometimes. That's just how the game goes, and it's totally fine. That's just softball.
Lindy Milkowski, who hit the solo home run in the bottom of the second at the plate. And Milkowski trying to do the same thing again. Oh, caught right at the wall for Madison Simon. Milkowski just a couple feet away from having her second home run of the afternoon. And Simon, great presence at the track, kept her composure, and made the catch.
Yeah, she tracked that all the way to the fence.
Woo.
And a great swing from Lindy Milkowski. She was just a few feet away from punching that over.
And a ground ball to third. Humphreys to Griffin. And Kamoku is retired, and the Cougars go down 1-2-3. And the Knights grab their bats, 1-2-3, which they haven't done since the third. And Gianna Mata's first pitch to Sierra Humphreys is outside for ball 1. 6 of the 9 runs have all come with 2 outs for the Knights this afternoon. And Matas misses again outside. 2 balls and no strikes. And Taylor, we talked about it in the open of the show. We knew that this was going to be an interesting series, and we knew that both of these teams had the capability of doing great things, and we've seen them do it. And then we've also seen them lose to the other team that, you know, the other team has won.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could guess how this series is going to go between these two teams. I think each game is going to have its own flair, its own personality of the game, just because these two teams, it just can go either way depending on who comes and who's ready to play.
Here's a 2-1 pitch. Hard ground ball to Kamoku at third. A nice scoop by Townsend at first.
Great hands over there at first. She is doing some great picks today.
And Kamoku quickly tapped herself on the chest saying, hey, my bad. But Townsend scooped it up and picked up her teammate. And got the critical first out of the inning. It's Samantha Ray now comes to the plate. 1 for 3 with the single is Ray. And Ray shows bunt.
Yeah, seen a lot of short game from Ray today. BYU knows it. They're crashing hard. Then they're sucking in a little bit so that they're nice and tight in case she goes for that bunt. But we know she has that slap capability too. So she really is that double, triple threat where she can stand and hit, slap, and bunt.
Here's the 1-0. And this ball drilled into center field, but right at Lauren Flanders. So 2 away for the Cougars in the top of the 5th.
And a good catch made out there by Lauren Flanders. Those line drives are the hardest to read, and she did a good job tracking it all the way to her glove and making sure she got that catch.
So Aubrey Evans, the shortstop defensive magnet, Looks at strike one from Mares. One for two with a walk so far this afternoon for Evans. And Mares has been a little wild this inning. Linda Mielkowski takes off her helmet, getting a little breather behind the plate. Here's the 1-1. Low and in the dirt for ball two. Evans did not chase the bait there.
And this is where BYU really needs to shut it down. They get those 2 outs and then just let UCF crawl back in and score a couple runs. And if they can just finish innings, I think that's really going to help them going forward to shut down the UCF offense.
3 balls and 1 strike to Evans. And Mares misses outside. And so Aubrey Evans is aboard with her second walk of the afternoon. So Beth Damon 0 for 3 tonight, and she's looking for her first hit. So again, BYU with 2 outs. And Mares dials in strike one. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Low and outside for ball one.
And we will know Evans over there at first is 7 for 7 on the season with stolen bases. Not leading her team right now, but she does have some speed over there that BYU needs to watch out for.
So Damon goes around for strike two. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2. And this ball is drilled down the right field line. Just foul. Elovea Brittingham getting her exercise out there.
Yeah. She's chased down several balls, fair and foul, down that right field line tonight.
Here's the 1-2. This ball misses. Runner goes. Mielkowski with the laser down to second. And Evans is thrown out.